Hi everyone, I'm Shadow Witch and welcome to my circle. Today we're going to be going over types of witches. I know a little bit in the past we did a video and it was outside and we were getting a lot of feedback from you guys saying that there was a lot of feedback. Kind of audio feedback, and it was hard to listen to, so we're going to go over this one again in case you had an issue listening to it and weren't able to hear all the different types of witches. I'm going to run down the belief systems, and these are types of witches, and there's many different magical systems, and these are just a few. We have the Gardnerian tradition. The Wiccan tradition was basically started in the 1950s by Gerald Gardner from England. We have the Alexandrian tradition started in the 1960s by Alex Saunders. It's a modified Gardnerian. Both are very structured, disciplined traditions. We have British traditional Wicca, which is a mix of Celtic and Gardnerian traditions, with a strong emphasis on the Farrar's studies. A British husband and wife team, Janet and Stuart Farrar. Stuart is now sadly deceased, and Janet now co-writes with Gavin Bone. They basically started this British traditional witch. Celtic Wicca comes, well, it's said to be based a lot on the Celtic beliefs. We have Druidic, priests of the Celtic people with a strong emphasis on the elements. The ancient ones, magical and healing properties attributed to nature. We have the Caledonian tradition from the Scottish, formerly the Hecatine tradition. The Pictish, which is the Scottish, which comes from the Picts, a small dark-skinned race of peoples thought to have existed from before time was. Also thought to be descendants of the gentry or those of the fairy realm. We have ceremonial witchcraft, considered magicians, not necessarily witches, depending on what they call themselves. Each one identifies as they feel comfortable with. They use a great deal of ceremony, lots of trappings, elaborate costuming, makeup, glamour, glamour of a sorts, which is a magical kind of aura one puts out for themselves. It finds its roots in the movement of the Golden Dawn that appeared in the mid-1800s. Uses elements of Egyptian magic and ritual as used by the Masons and similar secret organizations. We have the Dianic tradition, which is goddess focus, feminist. It is the feminist movement of the craft. We have the eclectic witch, which is a little of this, a little of that. People will call themselves eclectic if they really don't want to label themselves as other things, and they choose to kind of pick and choose from different parts of history and different traditions, and they find what works for them. The hereditary witch is someone trained by a relative who has been trained by a relative, and so on and so on. A kitchen witch is somebody who tends to do their magic in the kitchen with foods, recipes, and potions. A green witch, also an herbal witch, is somebody who works with gardens, nature, out of doors. Powwow, indigenous to South Central Pennsylvania, the United States, from a 400-year-old elite German magical system. We have Seax Wicca, S-E-A-X hyphen Wicca, from 1973, attributed to Raymond Buckland, who he first called it Saxon witchcraft. There's the solitary practitioner, sometimes called a natural witch, also could be a little eclectic, depending on the individual. We have Strega, Italian witchcraft, is attributed to Aradia, circa 1353, a tradition seated in Italy. We also have, let's see here, the Teutonic witch, which is from the Nordic tradition, English, Dutch, Danish, Swedish, Icelandic, and Norwegian. We have the Wiccan/witch. Either title is acceptable, and it depends on who you're speaking with. The witch studies the science and the physics of witchcraft Wicca is the religion. We have Egyptian high magic. Icean, which is followers of Isis, blending ceremonial Egyptian components. Vodou, hoodoo. Vodou is the religion. Hoodoo is a practice. Fairy witchcraft, Gypsy or Romani. We have shamans, who are not considered witches. Island magic, and Santeria, which is a blend of African and Caribbean magics. There's a lot of other options, choices that you might want to look into. These are some of the traditional ones that you might be interested in looking further into. Thanks for visiting my circle, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye. Only cool cats and kittens allowed.